Hi friends, my name is Megan and welcome to episode 114 of a Naughty Mess Knitting Podcast. Okay, I'm excited to talk about some fun things this week. I have one new cast on that is also a finished object, but it's small, so a little small thing done. I've got another almost finished thing. I focused hard on one thing this week and then I just got a couple of other little things done. I started my Spin With Me episode, so things are coming, but I didn't pick up my Elton, I didn't pick up Theo's flax to focus and concentrate on these other things, and that's okay. Some weeks that's what you need, a hyper focus. So let's talk about what those things are now. For anyone who's new here, my name is Megan and I live in the Pacific Northwest, just north of Seattle with my husband Mike, our daughter Theo, our dog Winter, and my mom Cindy. We've got like fiber things to talk about always. So I am a mostly knitter, also crocheter. No crochet projects right now. Sometimes needle pointer. That's one of the projects I did work on this week, and so I'll update you on that. And and I spin yarn. So all the fibery goodness. I like to talk about what I'm wearing, which is sometimes a finished object. This week it's not. This one is a pretty old one, but I have not worn this, I think, like at least a year, I think, on the podcast. So I thought I would wear it today. Also, it's fall and it feels appropriate, but I have one other reason too I'll tell you about. And then I talk about my whips, finished objects, all those kinds of fun things. So to start with, this is the Friendship Pullover by Amy Sher. Okay, I have like two other reasons I want to talk about it besides it's fall and this feels like a fall color and it feels like a fall wear with a little bit of cables. I know it's a little bit hard to see on camera. It is easier to see in person, but this is a very dark color and so it is just, less apparent. You can kind of see it there. I knit this in October of 2023. Oh, I didn't even really, I finished October 8th, 2023. So exactly 2 years and 1 day ago, I finished this. Lovely. FO. I knit this with friends. So this was maybe my first knit along that I did, and I thought it was a really appropriate thing. It was the flock pattern for 2023. Designed this for that event. So I think that was when it was released, possibly, or there was maybe like a knit along before. But anyway, I got the pattern then. I started this September 16th of 2023 and knit it in a pretty condensed time period with my friend Ariel, who also has a podcast here on YouTube called Ari Knits. And our friend Sylvan also knit it with us in our knitting group. And then we took pictures, which is the picture that I will have been up here there's one of me up here, right? And this picture was taken at our knit weekend. I'll put a picture up here of the three of us, which I've shown before. I guess on the side, that is the three of us in our very different colors, different fits, a little bit of different options and stuff for sizing, etc. So this I made a size E, which I don't have any finished measurements inside of Ravelry for this. So I'm trying to get better at that, but I'm not going to go back to all my old things because I just can't. Although I was just thinking about this today, is like I need to have a deep hilling session where I just like lay a bunch of things out and try to it's a boring thing to do or like kind of an annoying thing to do, but just like deep hill things for the season. I could take some measurements then, but that also seems like a torturous activity. So do I double down on this or not? But regardless, this is supposed to be to fit an upper bust of 44 inches. I don't know if there's any ease fit into this. It says 4 inches of ease at the full bust. Anyway, the full bust of this should be around 50 inches, 50 1/4 inches. I don't know if I was on gauge. It feels like there's some room, so that's very possible that was pretty close to on gauge. This is a bottom up raglan, which we were just talking about this in a little friend chat this week, that they're the worst. And I was like, they really are. They're truly the worst. Raglans can give you a little fatigue with how much they grow before you split for sleeves, but when you do it the other way, it feels really nice that you can shrink it down real quick to a nice fitted collar. But there's like a really strange thing that happens, even if you're on really flexible cables, when you join a small circle, that's because the sleeves are already done, to a larger the body, and you still have this, the whole circle is already created. It makes the fabric very tight. It's only like 4 or 5 rows, but honestly it feels like the worst. So even though the rest of it feels rewarding because then you're just decreasing, I find them a little bit more challenging. That is to say, like if you watch Ariel's podcast, she's knitting the Come Back Again. That's a bottom up raglan cardigan. I'm gonna make that one in the future, so it's not like I'm never gonna do it again. I just find it to be less enjoyable than the top down raglan. Okay. I don't have measurements. This yarn is back loop yarn and fiber. It is in the colorway Dreamland. But she had a different formula for this. It was much darker than her other Dreamland. She doesn't dye yarn anymore, as we know. But this is her worsted yarn. This is just 100% superwash, I think. Yeah, this is just 100% superwash. So I do love this one. I do not pick it as often because it's pretty cropped, but it's great for work, and it has like a nice high neckline, so it's very warm if my office is a little cold. So something for me to remember. Okay, so I have one finished object from this week, and that is a new cast on too. So this was a ask from Mike's cousin. One of Mike's cousins is pregnant. He has lots of cousins who live here in the Pacific Northwest, and the other is pretty much our like family party planner. She's always doing all the things. Anyway, she asked me to replicate as close as I can this bear here. So this is a Ralph Lauren teddy bear that you can buy, and it's a $100. She was like, I want this teddy bear at the party. I cannot spend $100. I was like, true enough. So she's like, so I was wondering if you could make it for me. I asked her to procure the blue yarn because I just wanted her to pick the blue that she wanted for it. And I said I had red and white to complete this rest of this. I did not part the R and L on it because like Ralph Lauren did not make it. So I will ask her if she wants to have that. Instead, I just did the flag. So this is a little goond teddy bear that this is like sewn onto it. I could cut it off, but I don't want to do that unless she wants me to. So I was just going to give it to her like this, and she can decide if she wants it off or not. This is as close as I could to replicate that little bear. Now, differences. First of all, I didn't want to buy a pattern for this because I only had baby like raglan patterns though. So I did go onto the Ravelries and I looked for both teddy bear patterns and just baby patterns because I figured like a newborn or a 0 to 3 month would fit this. I measured obviously teddy bears are super squishy, but he's like about 17 inches around without pushing in on him. So I wanted, that's like a 0 to 3 month size. So I was like, okay, I couldn't find a teddy bear pattern that I really liked. So I found this one, which is a Weasley sweater. I wanted the like drop shoulder or like a fitted sleeve, which this is kind of hard to tell because it's not that bright. I actually did a set-in sleeve. So I used the beginning of that pattern, but like all the measurements were off because it's not as high. Babies are a little bit longer than this in the torso. So, and where it was fitting to go around him, it was 2 drop shoulder, just because this bear, as opposed to the bear that I showed you a picture of, has more narrow shoulders than that other bear, right? So what I decided to do is just take the very beginning measurements of that and then do whatever I wanted. So that is what I did. So I actually have it in Ravelry as no pattern, but I will go in and like give credit. Like I did take the beginning measurements of that Weasley sweater pattern just because it was like the only free drop shouldery one that I could find that was like the right measurements, but for worsted weight yarn. So I did this in pieces. So I did the back and then the front. I did the back and then like here's the side seam. I took out like 8 stitches. I just bound off 8 stitches and then I didn't bind off anymore. I didn't really do a nice armhole shaping because this armhole was like 2 inches long. So I just knit a couple more rows and then I kept 7 stitches on, bound off the rest, kept 7 stitches on. Same with the front then. I did the front up to about the armpits. Same number of rows and everything. And then I did the bound off 8 stitches. And then I did a few rows and then I bound off the neck so it sits a little bit lower. And then I did a couple more rows of just the 7 stitches that I needed. I did a 3 needle bind off on those. I did the collar and I just picked up like 2 out of 3. I just kept it like some random number. I think I did 2 out of 3 because I wanted it to be pretty fitted around the neck. And then I just made a baby set and sleeve. So I just picked up in a ratio that I thought looked fine for the bear. I didn't really care. Like I knew the armhole circumference would be fine. So I selected just like a random start place, basically just the top of shoulder. And then I did short row shaping down to about here. And then I just knit a sleeve straight and I added 4 rounds of ribbing, 4 rounds of ribbing, 4 rounds of ribbing, right? I mean, that you started this with 4 rounds of ribbing, but like the neckband and then the arms are also 4 rounds. And then I just duplicate stitched this on and I just followed as close as I could see from the little picture, like, you know, what that was. So this is like a copycat knit backwards, not really the same sweater pattern because as you can see, that one is a little drop shoulder, but I just wanted to make it to fit this bear. I have not sent her a picture yet, and so I will just to ask her what she thinks, and then she will pick it up from my house. But this is actually happening next weekend while we have Knit Weekend. Knit Weekend was already planned before this one came out, so I don't get to attend, which is sad, but my bear shall be there in my stead. And that's it. This is the one finished object for this week. I knit this up in about a day. So it did take a little bit of time away from other things that I needed to get done, but this had to be done before next weekend also. And she just dropped me the yarn off like a week ago. And so I could have either started it last week or I just didn't want it to linger. So I just got it all done at once. And I did not wet block this and I'm not going to. Not even gonna steam block it. It's a teddy bear. And that's it. And that is just worsted acrylic. She got me an acrylic wool blend. I told her like whatever you decide, like I don't care what the base is, but it should be either worsted or DK. And so she ordered it and gave it to me, so that's fine. As I said last week, the next thing I'll go over is my embroidery because that doesn't really fit with all the rest of my projects, but I would, if you're on my Discord, you will have seen this, that I posted. I finished 3 whole sections. So I showed you the grass before, that's done, but then both of my roof sections are done. So these will sit on top like this little peaked roof. You won't see any of the plastic edges once they get sewn together, but they are really cute. So here's how it will sit. Okay. And then I did finish this one, just the background. I didn't do any of the details. So this will look a lot cuter with all the details. This is supposed to get like a trellis with flowers, some flowers on the bottom, and then the windows get some like pane details. And this is how far I got on the front, which is much further than last week, but I didn't really do any of this background, not much of this background color this week. So that's really all I have to do is fill in the background, and then so it's just all pink left. Yeah. So yeah, I'm progressing. I do want this done by Theo's birthday, so I have the side pieces to do and I have not done them yet or like even figured out cutting the canvas or anything. So I will get to both of those. In the window, there's one window on each side, and in the window in the pattern, and people have been doing really amazing pattern mods. Listen, I'm not a real embroidery person, and also I need this to not take a lot of mental energy, so I have not gone through and like made a bunch of changes to what the written charted pattern looks like. So but I will change. There's a potted flower on them. I might put a potted flower on one of them, but I think I'm gonna do an extra cat or put winter in the window. Just another thing for Theo. So that's what, is happening. My mom agreed to do the insides. I need to get her the measurements this week so she can get that all ready for this. And then I will, hopefully have the sides done. Probably not next week, but like the week after that. So I can just do the last week of the month, sew them together to get this ready for her. Oh, I do have to do a strap too. That's the last piece, but I think that's out of this color and that shouldn't be that hard. It's pretty thin. It's thin and long. Okay. Moving along to first project on my whip list, which is the first one I talk about every week. I'm just flashing it up here. This is my accountability session with all of you. As I like to call them at work when we have these, you guys are my accountability buddies. So I'm showing you so that we are putting this finishing energy out in the world. I did think like it would have been really nice to finish this for Knit Weekend because Ariel and Emily both have theirs and probably will take FO pictures with them there. There's no way this is happening with how much time and energy my other thing took. And because that has an actual deadline, I'm going to just It'll be fine. At some point in the future, the three of us can get together and take a picture anywhere outside and it will be cute. So, and because we see each other, so like I'm not that worried about it. But I did add like, you know, maybe 4.5 or 5 inches this weekend at a game night that I went to, one of Mike's friends, and we hadn't seen them in a little bit, and so that was fun. I did make a boo-boo while we were sitting there because I kept putting it down for the different game things. I made like a little boo-boo that when I corrected it, I like messed something. It was like, it took me like 10 minutes of like concentration there. Like we were playing this game and I was like, I need to focus on this for a minute. But yeah, anyway, pretty fun. Pretty fun to be able to like knit a little something when you get to hang out with friends. So there's that. Sorry. That pattern is already up on the screen or whatever, is the Crosshatch Hacked. Not using a pattern. It's a 2-color brioche, just influenced by that pattern by Jared Flood. I am using De Rare Natura Ulysse and knitting for Olive Heavy Merino and size 4mm needles, which is the size of the season. The only size needles that have been on everything. Like I said, I'm skipping my Elton because I didn't make any. I literally put it in the bag and didn't open it at all this week. I did make progress on this one though, and again, because I'm on 2 separate needles, because that's how you're doing the ribbing at the same time. For the neckband, this looks awkward, but let's just show progress. Here's my little stitch marker. So I've added a good bit. I have 4 more increases before I split for sleeves. I did decide on size 4. As the body has grown a little bit, my row gauge is off, but also my stitch gauge is off a little bit. Like they're just a little bit bigger. This is pretty dense yarn. Probably could have gone down a needle size, but I actually really love how airy and light this is. So I'm just gonna do size 4 stitch counts and it'll be a little bit larger than size 4. So not worried about that. That's like totally fine with me because I was like debating if I wanted a little bit more space than size 4. So, and size 4 is a 48-inch bust. Recommended ease is 7 inches though. The next size up is like a 52 or something, which is closer to 8 inches for me, or 7 inches of ease for me. So if this goes to like 50, that'll be like, you know, that'll be fine. It'll be fine even if it's 48, but it'll be fine if it's 50. So that's kind of what I anticipate. I don't know how much this will grow because I've never knit just knitted in before. I also don't know that I'll wet block this. Does anybody have an opinion? Should I wet block a 100% knitted in thing? It's, you know, there's no risk. Like the fabric itself is sturdy now that it's knit, but will it take 9 years to dry? Do I risk like it floofing even more? I mean, I guess that's not a bad thing. Should I just steam block it? I don't know. But the texture looks pretty incredible. Half Fisherman's Rib in this. Sorry, this is a pattern by Haley Smedley, who is Ozetta. This is the oversized Seasons cardigan. The regular Seasons cardigan just is not size inclusive. It's an older pattern. So this one is. Yeah, but I'm excited to split for sleeves just to have a little bit less body. Rows are taking a long time, and they're taking like much longer than knitting with regular yarn because you do have to be a little bit precious with the knitted in. Even just my knit row back. So I'm like, my goodness, you know, I work on it and I'm like, oh, I just did 2 rows and I feel like it took so long. And so, but I picked it up like 2 different nights this week and just put in like 3 or 4 raglan increases each time, which is, you know, 2 passes to try to get that ready and done and be split. So, I'm going to measure before I split. If I need to do 1 extra increase or whatever, like this is a cardigan. It doesn't matter for sizing because I'm not going to go back and pick up other things. Like I can just have a couple more increases. Or even if it's just like another row or 2, like it doesn't seem like it's that deep, but according to the measurements, like it's actually okay. It's just really hard to tell until you split for sleeves for like a cardigan because it's so open. It's not like I can put it over my head and see. It's like really depends on where you pull your back. Anyway, I will see. Maybe it's fine. This is the thing that is like partially finished, and it's not finished because I wouldn't gift it to her this way, so I guess that's the answer. But this is a completed body. The animal's completed, I guess, for Henri. Henri the orangutan is naked. He is done, but he is naked. He is blocked. I did wash and block him, mostly just because I wanted the mohair to fluff a little bit more. It does suggest that you brush it. I think I might just use my hands. I do have like a boar bristle brush that'll help, but I do think he's like, his fluff is quite nice already just from washing him. And so he's very adorable. He looks better now that he's like stuffed, but he still has like a pinhead. I mean, and that's what he looks like in the book. So like, I didn't do anything wrong. He just has like a bloopy head. I don't know. I've seen orangutans. We have them at the Woodland Park Zoo, and I don't know that they look like this other than the color and that he's clearly a monkey, but whatever. There's like signs though that they are like very dangerous creatures. So like, there's all these signs that like above their enclosure that is like, do not drop anything. It can never be retrieved. We're like, okay. But yeah, so here he is. And then I started on his pants, but I kind of ran out of steam and I wanted to work on that cardigan actually last night. But here are his pants. They look really long. I'm like looking at them next to his body and I was like, oh my gosh, they look like they're going to be super high-waisted, but his butt is quite large. So to cover his butt and that they just like split is like, they do need to be this long. And I think that like just the way the fabric will move, like they'll sit back a little bit so they don't look too weird in the front. So I have like 2 more of this pattern repeat and you can kind of get a look at that pattern. There's like it's like a twisted broken rib type business. I don't even know what you call the stitch pattern. I'm sure it has a name, but I don't know what it is. But it's pretty cute. And it does give this like little, you know, it's going to be stretched a little and like gives you kind of like a cute little pattern. Anyway, I have like 2 more full round repeats, like, and then you split and you just do 2 legs. And so, and I mean, the legs will probably be about this long, but they'll be, like this many repeats, but they'll be less stitches. So hopefully they'll go pretty fast. And I have the yarn picked out. I have a green. So I asked the friend who this is for, I asked her what color this is for a friend who's having a baby, at the end of, I guess, early November due date. And so I want to get this done pretty soon, but yeah, she picked green for the sweater. And I do have like like a foresty green that will go with this color pants pretty well. Where did I put it here? So this will be his sweater, and his sweater is really cute. Like you can see in the picture, like it's got like kind of a turtlenecky look. And so, I don't think it'll take me too long to get that done. I should be able to get this all done this weekend so that, Ape Man is complete. But Henri, by Cynthia Fellet. This is part of the Moosh and Friends book. I love this book so dearly. So this is my second animal from the book just ever. But I'll be making another Nana the Duck, which was the first one I made earlier this year. And so, and then I'm going to have Theo pick which one she wants first. She's flipped her mind a couple of times because she saw the duck and she really liked it. But then before she had picked Alphonse the pig, and so we're gonna go back and see what is most interesting to her right before I cast on, which will hopefully just be for Christmas time, so I won't worry about until like end of November. I'm skipping her flax. I am gonna talk about the Mila though. This is the thing I worked on most last night after I took a break from those pants and then did a couple rounds of my seasons, and I didn't get a ton. I mean, I got a lot done, but I'm not done the back increases yet. I need to go to new needles, like a new cord, and I just need to maybe shuffle some things around to get a cord because I'm again suffering too many projects. I have one, I actually just also have one in my office. I just didn't feel like going down last night to get it. So here is this pattern. Here's where I was 2 weeks ago. I added like a couple rounds last week and then most of this last night. My gauge is a little bit different. Like I can tell that this feels a little denser than it does down here. What are you gonna do? Knitting over time is it is an interesting thing. Yeah. So here it is. And on this side, it is reversible. You can see the sort of like diamond-ish shape. I don't know. I think I like this side more because it's like pretty interesting, but I think overall, like this is a really nice effect as well. So we'll sort of see what my preference is for wearing. I don't know. I don't know what it'll be. But yeah, this yarn is Explore Knits and Fibers Earthy Decay in the color Squim. I think it's a 246 for 100 grams. It's 100% non-superwash merino. It's very soft. It's going to be pilly, but it is what it is. I have 2 balls wound. I need to wind a couple more because I just want to make sure I'm preferencing the balls that are really the same color. I did buy these all at once, but it was not like a sweater quantity died for me, right? Like it was at a yarn event or whatever, La Mercerie pop-up, which is part of the Seattle collection. So this happened middle of the map. Like if this is just the non-superwash is like a more gray-y purple, but I really love it. I think it's so cute. So I am making a size 5, which is a 49¼ inch bust. Recommended ease is 4¼ to 6 inches, but I'm going to do a little less than that. I am using 4mm needles and it's reversible. I mean, it is intentionally reversible. I'm still really interested to see how like the whole neckband pickup and everything is reversible. I honestly feel like, yeah, I mean, I've seen pictures of it both ways, so I guess it really is, though most of the pictures you see on Ravelry are just one of the sides, so we'll see. I'm like tentatively excited about it. Let's talk about the sweater that got to absolutely the most activity this week, which is my Ray sweater. So if you remember last week, this is a test knit for Jesika from Knitwork on Instagram. This is at least her first design, I think, with Woolfolk, and it's like really classic, really gorgeous picture here. You can see. Okay, last week I had done the collar and some of the short rows, but I was not done the short rows, though they were pretty deep short rows. Are you ready for this? I told you I gave it a lot of time this week. We have a ton of sweater, and this is where I was on the front. Literally on the collar on the front. I had not finished all those short rows. It's looking so good. It is kind of a funnel neck, though it will sit down here a little bit like this. I've started sleeves. I've gotten a lot of the body done. Now this is quite a deep raglan. This is part of the pattern, is that it's a bit of a deep raglan. It's got a shorter body and then like a stockinette, and then it's got a rather wide ribbing band. So matches more like the top. I have 8 rows according to the pattern number, if I'm on gauge, left to do in the body before I start the ribbing. I want it to get like probably another 3 to 4 inches of the sleeves done, each of them, before I try it on and then decide if that, with how much ribbing they're supposed to be, which is like, I think it's like solidly like 4 inches or something. With the 4 inches of ribbing, if I think that'll be long enough. If I don't think it'll be long enough, because I am knitting with a little less ease than the pattern recommends, then I'll add a couple of stockinette rows and then go to the ribbing. So I just don't want to make that decision yet because I'm not exactly sure how this neckline is really going to fit and everything. But here it is. So progress, a lot of progress, and I love it. It's so, the squish is so nice. Like it feels amazing. It feels really soft. And yeah, I think like the design, I think these elements are like really cute, really nice. Let's talk about some of this, and how that worked out. So, sorry, I'm a little tangled in the yarn because I have 3 balls attached, because you know how I do. Also, by the way, this is from Denim and Rain. It's her little new llama mold, and it's so cute. Okay, you finish short rows, and then you're just growing your raglan as you have been with your 2 lines that just come straight from your, I mean, it's, the details on this are so nice. You're doing a compound raglan shaping. During the short rows, you do like every other row-ish. Then you do a section of less frequent raglan increases, and then you do sort of a rapid growth section where you are actually knitting, you're increasing on either side of a knit stitch. You can see them here. I'm increasing once knitting, increasing then next to the raglan line. Same way, you're after the raglan, you know, like depending on where you are on the body, then you do your like raglan section, and then you do an increase, a knit, an increase. So that gives it this kind of like I think the shape is actually really nice. I think that'll be nice. It was just like, those were a little bit like annoying to knit, but it was fine. I ended up with the right number of stitches, and so carry on with life, right? It does make the sleeves do have quite a lot of stitches in them. They are supposed to be like rather bigger. I think I said that this is like wide sleeves. There are actually two options. The one I think she has photographed is the shorter, wider sleeves. And then the second option is a longer tapered sleeve. And I'm going to do the longer tapered. And it's longer, I think, just because it fits a little bit different, right? Like then you want to be able to like cover your wrist or whatever. So, but I, you know me, I prefer to have it a little bit more fitted. Like this is actually quite a fitted sleeve. I don't know. I mean, it's nice right now. It's very warm, but like I'm okay with some airiness in the sleeve as long as it's not like a balloon cuff type situation, or I mean like a bell sleeve. I do have one bell sleeve thing and I never grab it, so it's things you learn after you spend a lot of hours making something. Anyway, so when you split for sleeves, you add a couple of stitches to keep yourself in pattern, and then you just pick up those same stitches to keep yourself in pattern for this. So it's not, you know, double wide. You split some of them for sleeves and some of them for the body. And because of the ones you add in the middle, then it looks like it's about the same distance or whatever. It's actually a little bit wider, but I think that's like such a cute detail. That's a cute way to do it. So yeah, it'll have a little ribbed section down, and then quite a lot of 1x1 at the bottom. So I'm really excited with how this is coming. This is a test knit for Woolfolk. This was gifted yarn. This is the Far yarn from Woolfolk. It is 100% Ovis 21 merino. It is 280 yards, I think, for 100 grams. They come in 50 ball skeins. It's a chain net yarn and it's so soft. So I showed it before. This is what it looks like in the ball. You can see that chain. It's like this really icy purple color. I will say, I think I said this last week, but like there are times where that chainette, because it's airy, but I'm knitting at a kind of tight gauge, it is like I catch it sometimes. So that like just when I'm knitting in the round, I think maybe because I've been knitting faster, it's just like being in the body, that I found like myself catching it a little bit more often. That's a little bit annoying, but like that's really the only thing that I have to say about it. Somebody did ask, this is a rather dense gauge. So the gauge is like 22 stitches for DK, which I think is pretty dense. So I mean, and not like too dense for a DK. It's just it's a firmer gauge than I don't know that it would be hard to achieve with regular DK, but there were some of the knitters like in the test knit that were even struggling with this yarn to get that gauge. I wasn't. I thought that this was fine. I'm on 4mm needles for this. But I do think that the slightly tighter gauge may help with pilling. It's just so soft. Like, I don't think I think the chainette composition will help with pilling the most, actually. It's my theory. Yet to be seen. I would have to like, you know, I couldn't tell you comparison wise, like if this would pill more or less than something knit at a higher, like a wider gauge in this yarn, because I don't have any more of this yarn. This really does make me want to buy more of it though, because it's like really soft. It's like stupidly soft. It is a non-superwash yarn. So, I mean, it's going to pill. It has this like kind of pretty halo though. Like it's just glowy and really beautiful. You know that I give honest assessments. I know that they gifted me the yarn. Yeah, that's something I keep for free. It is still a test. So I need to give you the assessment of both how the yarn works for the test and also the pattern itself. So far, pattern's been great. But it's a luxury yarn. It's expensive. So I like have not bought that for myself because it is expensive and it's a lot of balls you need for a single project. But it's like I don't know, we'll see how it like wears and stuff. This one is one that like at least working with it has been pretty enjoyable. Feeling it is like super enjoyable. This is an excellent wardrobe staple, I think, coming in. Like I think in any color, light or dark, you'd be able to see these details. Like it's really nice. That's my assessment so far. So I'm hoping I was hoping to get it done this week, and in order to be done with it this coming week for Knit Weekend to take pictures out on the beach, etc., which is you know, like where I did for this one. I need to finish sleeves. That's probably gonna be the hardest thing. If I only have, I mean, it's 8 rows of body, then 4 inches of ribbing is a lot. But I like 1x1 ribbing because I do my combination rib. So I think I'll enjoy it, maybe, theoretically. But like, let's call this 50 rows of body maybe, and then sleeves. Like, that's not that bad. I just need to keep going. I need to keep going. I did not knit on that really yesterday very much. So that was like 5 or 6 days of knitting. Six days of knitting. I just went really crazy. But it is the thing I knit most. It's what I focused on. Okay, reset. Let's talk about our book snake this week. Look how cute. I have this like wrapped all the way around me twice. I mean, like, this is very long. Here's the whole book snake. This is quite large. I mean, it's like under me. It's big. It's gonna keep growing. I read 5 books this week, so we'll talk about books and the book snake. So I have not mentioned I put the pattern name at the top always when I first start talking about this, but this is by Han Lee. This is meant to be like a book tracker. Some people are using it as a temperature tracker, something different than like a blanket, right? You can do this by genre. I am choosing to use colors, primary, or like whatever I select from the cover of the books I've read this week, or this every week, but this for the whole of the year. So we are caught up, and now we can talk about just the books of this week. And I have also, I feel like this, I'm gonna have a trend. There's quite a lot of color here in this, like the summer months, and I think that a lot of these fall books are gonna be black because I am in a dark romance, like cozy kind of feeling. So I'm gonna flip between, always between romance and like romantasy, but I've got some probably darker romances in the future just because that's like, I don't know, that's like the season. 'Tis the season. I did give the caveat warning last week of like, I'm gonna read these dark romances. I'm gonna talk about them, but like not a lot of detail. I always will like remind you that most of these books, like even just regular romances, like they do have trigger warnings. And if you don't know what that means, that just means that like these may be triggering for some people, like based on certain topics. Like even regular romances have death or grief or other things in them that maybe like would be triggering. And so don't read them if that's like gonna upset you. But so dark romances are like more triggering of topics, like not normal things that happen in books, but like, you know, abusive or, you know, manipulative, you know, violence, other things like that. I am a very stable, loving, happy marriage, but I like what I like, and I don't like them all the time. There's like moods and times, but I feel like when it gets dark and gray, like sometimes I just want to like read about like a really messed up situation and people still finding love, and you're like, that's not healthy, but also you do you, peeps. I'm not writing these books. I'm just reading them. It's fun. It's like trashy TV where you're like, that's a toxic relationship. This is the same, but in book format and maybe a little bit more high stakes. But again, they're book characters. So here we go. We'll talk about them anyway. And I've got 3 of them this week. So I guess that's your warning. Maybe 4. Really. I mean, I don't know. So this first book that I finished is called Lady of Shadows. This is the second in the Lady of Darkness books. The first Lady of Darkness book I read was like a few weeks ago, so I think it's this one down here. They're gonna have very similar vibes because all of the covers are black and gray. You're like, really? You couldn't put any color in there? Her whole thing is that she's got shadows, but quite frankly, she has other magic that would be like interesting for the covers. And like the world itself is like not dark and gray. It's like Fae Kingdom. It's very vibrant and beautiful, or whatever. This is a series by Melissa K. Roehrich. It is about a girl who discovers her heritage, and she's like, you know, tangentially reminiscent of like Aelin Galathynius, like assassin who's got a larger birthright than that. But you know, trained assassin type thing. And this book was really interesting. You finally get to the part where she like stops living under a rock for both her inheritance and her match. There were a couple people floating around who you're like, who is her match? Like, I think it's pretty obvious in the beginning, but like she finally, I mean, and like you know that she's been avoiding it because she just is like, there's so much life change happening. Anyway, I'm really enjoying this series. I'll keep reading it, but I got a bunch of books from the library this week, so I was like, well, I will get back to it this fall. These are actually, like, I would say pretty well written romantasy books so far. Like, there's interesting conflict, interesting characters that are at least slightly nuanced. You also get the perspective of characters that maybe are not your favorite, which is kind of fun. And it's a lot of like, there's like political things happening. There's also magical growth happening, and yeah, all these other things. And so it's been interesting. This one here, I started reading, I think I said I was going to do this. I started reading the Zodiac Academy. This is like a book. These are bully romances. So that's a trigger warning. I mean, like, there's many other things probably, but like, that's the real thing, that like a lot of people don't like them because they're that, like, this girl has the same with Broken Bonds. They're just like not nice to her, but they're like the people that they might end up with. Anyway, this is about twins. I think each of them will like find one person to be with. I'm not actually sure. They don't really tell you in the beginning, but the first one is called The Awakening, and that's like very literally their powers get awakened. They don't know that they are Fae until they turn 18, and then they get like hunted down in the mortal world, and they have to go to the Fae world, which is just like a totally different realm. Sorry, this like book snake is just choking me. Anyway, so this first cover, there are like typical covers for these, which have like a zodiac symbol on them. And like, I don't love those covers. They have these art covers. So these art covers are the ones I'll probably use going forward. So this first one is like their dresses in the background. And then the second book is called Ruthless Fae, and it is, I use this color, which is kind of like her tank top, the background being dark, and then there are like lots of pops of like a dark blue and a purple in there, which I thought was fitting for this. So again, these are probably gonna be a lot of dark colors, but I'm gonna try to pick like something from the girls in the beginning. Their names are Darcy and Tori. This is written by Susanne, Valenti, and Caroline Peckham. They also have written like 3 accompanying series. So this series came out in 2019, but it came out like 4 books at a time, I think. 4 or 5. It's like 6 every month or so. Not even, like one month, and then 3 weeks later, and then another month. Anyway, they came out, all of the books, all 9 of the first part of the Zodiac Academy came out in about 5 years. There's also, written at the same time, timelines kind of mix. There is the Ruthless Boys and Darkmoor Penitentiary. So there's like quite a lot of books. I think 21 in total for this realm. Will I read all of them? TBD. I'm kind of interested in doing it. There are like some people that just like talk about it. These are not well written, like fantastically written books. They're not going to probably make you have all the feels or anything like that, but it is like watching a Freeform or like CW show from back in the day. If they're like, it's like watching Vampire Diaries. Like, it very much is. Like, obviously not the same because it's vampires versus like, there's also vampires in this, but there's shifters and there's fae and there's whatever. But like in that sort of teenage drama, like they are all over 18. They do get spicy, the books. I heard the last ones, and Darkmoor Penitentiary, very, very spicy, but they are like in a fae magical college kind of situation. But anyway, they read like one of those episodes, like not great anything, but like still very fun to just like go quickly. I will say the first one I had on Audible, gifted from a friend. The second one I had I just found it at the library, but they only had the dramatized version, and the dramatized version is like so painful to me. It's so painful to me. I really don't like the dramatized versions of like anything, but like a specifically graphic audio, because they put a bunch of like extra noise in the background of the whole thing, and like I can't always tell if like Sometimes they have like background conversation happening as people are like leaving the space or whatever. Like, oh, they went off to the library and it's like them talking. I'm like, did they say any of that? Like, is any of that in the book? Like, I don't think so. And so I'm like, this is super strange to me. The library near me only has the graphic audio versions up to book 4. And then I'm like, also, this is going to be a hard sell for me if I'm going to read these with my eyeballs because they're just not that good. Maybe they'll go really fast and I'll actually be able to like whip through them really quickly. And maybe that's something I'll be doing a lot this winter is like reading with my eyes while I have a whole setup to do it, even on the treadmill. So we'll see. We'll see. Okay. The next one though, I thought was actually like, I had little mixed feelings in the middle of the book because I just, I felt upset, which is actually not a bad sign because that means I was invested. So this is Amid Clouds and Bones. Is that what it's called? Yeah. And it's by Ella Fields. It's a standalone romantasy novel that is about a half-fae princess who has a contracted marriage with a full fae prince and like foreign alliance between the realms. Basically, all the kings are real, like, not nice, bad guys. It's basically just a bunch of the second generation dealing with like bad parents, bad policies, etc. I thought this was really close to like the cover colors that are happening. This is some leftovers from my FDF sock year, which I just found those colors in a bag upstairs. But this was a really interesting book. Why I paused in the middle and I was like, I'm gonna finish it, but like, do I spoiler for myself? So, and the real reason is because there's a little bit of back and forth. She's torn between 2 kingdoms, and it's just, I feel for her. Which is great. Like, I feel like as character development goes, like if you really care about her, and also because she's like a little bit questionable of a character at some points, like she makes decisions where I'm like, why are you doing that? Why do you want that? But also like, she's kind of been in an impossible place. She's known about her arranged marriage for a long time. It was like agreed to be, you know, much later in the future. She was like 13 when she found out. And so you get to see the growth of her and the mate, like one of the princes, throughout this. And it is hard for her. Like, he's not nice. They don't want her to be their princess. She's not accepted by her own court. There's a lot of feelings going on. I thought it was good. There were a couple of twists I didn't see coming. I don't know if I entirely understood the end bargain that was made, but like, whatever. I thought the ending was like pretty nice. All of the things. Not on, a little bit like, yeah, I'm not going to give anything else away because there were twists in there and I wasn't exactly sure what was going to happen. And so I did not spoiler it. I was just like, I'm going to write it out and see. I had to pause and give myself a moment because I was just not sure if I was going to be really mad or not. I really enjoyed, I enjoyed it a lot. So I would say go ahead and read that one if you are interested. It is spicy. And like a little bit triggering. I think there's like definitely parts where like he's not nice to her. And so yeah, there's that. Anyway, this one up here is for Scotch on the Rocks, which is the second of the Macabe brothers books by Elliot Fisher. This was long awaited for me. I was really excited for this. I read the first book not knowing that the series like was the first one to come out and the rest of them were not out yet. I don't know if these are Elliot Fletcher's like debut novels, but brilliant. They're so good. The first one I really, really loved, about like a recluse and a pop star. Okay, that was fun. This one is actually like a forbidden romance kind of, which is like little brother's ex-fiance. You know the couple that's coming up if you read the first one, but it's so good. Juniper is, everybody's really torn about the situation, but also like, I love Callum. He's just like excellent. He's an excellent human. He does all the things. He's like got such good big brother energy. And like, even though this is a terrible thing, right? Like that's pretty much not okay in most situations. There's a reason. It is, yeah. Anyway, I enjoyed it a lot. I I loved going on their journey of just like figuring out how to like make themselves a priority and then also fit in the things that would give them joy. Anyway, yeah, okay, that's it. That's all I want to say about it. But yeah, I thought that this color was kind of like the lagoon in the back, and then the lighter green and stuff is like the flowers and like the fun stuff. So I just felt like that was like, yeah, anyway, appropriate. This one felt also like a little bit of a love letter to the Isle of Skye. I've been there before. It is really gorgeous. It's like so lush and green, and they go on some adventures and stuff. And so yeah, I had a good time reading that one. I would definitely suggest you check those out if you can get them from your bookstore or library near you. I do have a quick acquisition and a thank you. So I actually was gifted these. I replied on the D-Stash Discord to someone who watches the show. And so Taryn, thank you for these. She sent over these 50-gram sock sets, or yeah, they're sock sets. So they are both these Polka Dot Creek. I don't have any Polka Dot Creek yarn. This is from AB, Alberta, I think. And they're really cute though. So this one is called LYS Day 2023 Willow. And then this one is called Thankful. This mini here is called Chocolate, and this one is called Black Coffee. So I got both of these. They're both, superwash merino and nylon, 75-25, and 230 yards for 50 grams. They're 4 plies, and the mini is 20 grams. She listed a bunch of these, and she had some really good colors, and Theo and I looked at the colors, and I wanted this one, and then she wanted this one. And so this is obviously enough yarn to make her like very long socks, but I will make her socks, and maybe like for her bestie too or something at some point. And then but I will make some for me. I don't know if I'll use these this year or if I'll just use them in the near future, but I also think that they kind of coordinate together, which is fun. So we'll have like little matching, I'll probably just use the same pattern or something for our socks. So fun. I also don't have a lot of like brown minis, and I think these are both really good colored browns. Like they're both like kind of cool leaning browns. Like this one especially is like a very like gray brown. So those are the colors. Anyway, that's my little thing. So thank you, Taryn. Really excited to get those, and yeah, just have them. I don't have that much self-stripping yarn left, and so it'll be like nice to just like have that for like the easy sock happening sometime next year. I do think, I don't know if I'll do a sock of the month next year. I've enjoyed doing it. I would probably like to make more for me. Next year I probably won't make them like gift socks as a season, which also is kind of nice because I like to be able to like try them on and stuff. I do have a lot of socks, but more socks is good. Yeah. I also have a lot of socks that don't fit me super well because I feel like sock knitting is a journey and I've gone on it. So, yeah, I think that might be something I do next year. We'll talk to the knit friends too and see if that's like, if I need the encouragement. So if other people are doing it, then maybe I will join. Okay, I don't really have anything else to share this week. I'm not gonna do a big talk about this, but next week, gosh, on Sunday, I think, is Allie's Wicked collection. Comes out from Explore Nest and Fibers. This is something that's very near and dear to her heart. And she has these great write-ups on like why she picked the color and like the inspiration and how it makes her feel. And like they're very thoughtful, like those, it's not, you know, they're very thoughtful colors. She's also doing this as a collaboration for the first time with Rachel, who works for her, who is knitting in Root. And I have a bunch of her stitch markers actually, because she came the day that they were at Rose City Yarn Crawl at Knotty Lamb. Rachel also had a table for her stitch markers. Anyway, she's having a stitch marker that goes with like a lot of the colors. Like she doesn't have as many of each, like not every color gets a stitch marker or whatever, but like there's sets for some of the duos and they're really fun and pretty too. Okay, there are colors in this collection I really love. I'll do one grid post here, but like I'm not gonna, I don't know that I'm gonna order a ton from it. I do love Wicked. I loved the movie, the first one. I can't wait for the second one. I don't know when I'm gonna watch it, just sometime with friends probably. But yeah, I am excited to get something because like these colors, if you see them on the grid, right, they speak to me, and that not all of them, they're like the lighter colors probably not so much, but like some of those darker ones and some of those darker variegateds, they're reminiscent of some other colors that she has, like you know, I have Court of Dreams, and one of them is like pretty close to that, but it is darker and it's got more green than teal. And I was like, I don't know, those are pretty different to me. So we'll see. We'll see what I end up with. I do like, there's also some new bases. I've not tried her Teton Sport yet. And like some of these, getting them in linen sock would be really fun as like, for one of the tonals. So we'll see. Yeah, I don't have anything else to share this week. A limited scope on projects. Hopefully this is a little shorter of an episode. And then I will be hopefully finish my race sweater next week because I've put in all the work. So I'm really hoping that I can get it done. And I don't think I'll get anything else done before next week. I do need to cast on my October socks for my mom, and get stuff ready for knit weekend. So that's really going to be my goal next week, is yes, race sweater. And yes, it'll take up probably most of the time, but I want to make sure all the other projects that I want to take, like I have a handful of projects to take with me, and I'll bring my spinning wheel. And I want that to be bobbin, like I have many free bobbins, but I like my spin. I would like it to be empty bobbins. We are going to start our sock spin, which our Christmas sock spin, which we do together. And so this is the Very Merry, sorry, from Yarn Jam. And, starting that together is really fun. So we bring our ladybugs, little fleet of ladybugs, which is a loveliness, remember? So it's very fun. And then, yeah, well, I want to just like have some projects that are thinkers, and then some projects that are like movie time and conversation time kind of knits. So it's nice to have both. Anyway, that's what I'm going to prepare for this weekend, and through next week. And so let me know below what you've been working on. If you're not on our Discord, please come hop over and join. If you want to find me on Ravelry, do that also. I've had some more requests for book club cardigan mods, which is like really fun to share with people, that like they have to send me your receipt and stuff. But I want people to like have a good experience knitting that, because I really do love my end product. But yeah, so please let me know what you've been working on. What are like the fun fall things you're looking forward to? Maybe if you would tell me also, this is something I need for inspiration. Like, what are your favorite fall baked things? I feel like a little stuck, like I like pumpkin things. Pumpkin roll is my favorite. Okay, I'll just put that out there. That's my favorite thing. Pumpkin roll, that's the most fall, epitome fall things. But like, what other apple things or other things do you like to cook? Or they're like, you get into the chocolate season. I know people like pecan pies, like things like that. I don't know. I want to know, because that's the other thing. I don't bake that much, but I do love a baked moment. And the fall is really when I'm getting the juices right now. Like, I'm getting excited. I want to make a couple baked things for the house. Send me your favorite like recipes, or like just tell me the name of them. I would love to be inspired in that front too. It's so nice to chat with all of you every week. Thank you so much for coming and coming back. I know there's a lot of content out there, and I really appreciate it. This journal started just for me, but I love to share projects with you. I love to inspire each other. I love to build community. So again, Discord, you can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Ravelry. I respond to messages in all those places. I look forward to talking to you soon. Have a good one.